If you can't think big, how will you ever be big? Sometimes we are so attached to our way of life that we turn down a wonderful opportunity simply because we don't know what to do with it. Hey guys, great to see you guys again and hope everyone's doing well because I have some interesting news to share. I am going to start a new playlist in which I want to read chapters of books that I think are very interesting and they bring value to people's lives. They've definitely brought value to my life. This playlist can actually be a very interesting one because there are certain books that I think everyone should carry with them at all times because they can come in handy at different parts of their lives when people are feeling lost, people are feeling a little down in the dumps, people are feeling fantastic and they want to be even better. So I think there are always books that can help us get better, right, and feel better. So and experience new things and have newer perspectives. So the first book I thought we could start with was Paulo Coelho's Like the Flowing River. So the first time I heard about Paulo Coelho was Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Was obviously The Alchemist. I read it sometime during the lockdown when, I had nothing to do and I was getting sick and tired of using my phone all day, every day. So my mother gave this book to me, The Alchemist, and it was a very interesting read, and I really liked his viewpoint about the world and life. So I thought I'll read some other books of his. So my mom had 3-4 other books of his, out of which this really stood out to me. So Like the Flowing River, out of there's the second book I've read of his, and this is something that I have decided to carry with me everywhere. So I shifted. If you guys didn't notice, I have shifted, and so it's been very hectic and busy. So that's why it's been a while since I've uploaded. So I thought we could start the series because I think I would like to share certain bits of this book that really would bring certain things into perspective for a lot of people, and I think we can have some fun with it. So today I thought we could just start with one of the random chapters, and we'll be doing this on a weekly basis, and I think we should have some fun discussing the outcomes of each chapter. So this one, let's go for this. It's called The Importance of a Degree. My old mill in a small village in France has a line of trees that separates it from the farm next door. The other day, my neighbor came to see me. He must be about 70 years old. I've sometimes seen him and his wife working in the fields and thought that it was high time they stopped. My neighbor is a very pleasant man, but he says that the leaves from my trees are falling on his roof and that I should cut the trees down. I'm really shocked. How can a person who has spent his entire life in contact with nature want me to destroy something that has taken so long to grow? Simply because in 10 years' time it might cause problems with his roof? I invite him in for a coffee. I say that I'll take full responsibility that if one day those leaves, which will anyway be swept away by the wind and by the summer, do cause any damage, I'll pay for him to have a new roof. My neighbor says that doesn't interest him. He wants me to cut down those trees. I get slightly angry and say that I would rather buy his farm from him. My land isn't for sale, he says, but with the money you could buy a lovely house in town and live out the rest of your days there with your wife without having to put up with harsh winters and failed harvests. My farm is not for sale. I was born here and grew up here, and I'm too old to move. He suggests that we get an expert from town to come and assess the situation and make a decision. That way, neither of us need get angry with the other. After all, we are neighbors. When he leaves, my first reaction is to label him as insensitive and lacking in respect for Mother Earth. Then I feel intrigued. Why would he not agree to sell his land? And before the day is over, I realize that it's because his life has known only one story. And my neighbor does not want to change that story. Going to live in town would mean plunging into an unknown world with different values, and maybe he thinks he's too old to learn. Is this something peculiar to my neighbor? No. I think it happens to everyone. Sometimes we are so attached to our way of life that we turn down a wonderful opportunity simply because we don't know what to do with it. In his case, his farm and his village are the only places he knows, and there is no point in taking any risks. In the case of people who live in the town, they all believe that they must have a university degree, get married, have children, make sure that their children get a degree too, and so on and so on. No one asks themselves, could I do something different? I remember that my barber worked day and night so that his daughter could finish her sociology degree. She finally graduated and, after knocking on many doors, found work as a secretary at a cement works. Yet, my barber still used to say very proudly, my daughter's got a degree. Most of my friends and most of my friends' children also have degrees. That doesn't mean they've managed to find the kind of work they wanted. Not at all. They went to university simply because someone at a time when universities were important said that in order to rise in the world, you have to have a degree. And thus, the world was deprived of some excellent gardeners, bankers, antique dealers, sculptors, and writers. Perhaps this is the moment to review the situation. Doctors, engineers, scientists, and lawyers need to go to university. But does everyone else? I'll let these lines by Robert Frost provide the answer. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Just to conclude the story about my neighbor, the expert came and, to my surprise, showed us a French law which states that any tree has to be at least 3 meters from another property. Mine are only 2 meters away, so I will have to cut them down. So why I picked this chapter for the very first one is because I think it's very important for us to question ourselves. Just, self-assess situations and, our life from time to time, which I think people, in the scramble of just getting from one place to the other and getting one task finished, we just don't give ourselves the time to think about things. And I think it's so important. As he said, that people will just, because it's a part of life, they will all get a degree, they will get married, they will have children, and they'll work. And they probably don't even like what they're doing. They're just doing it because 50,000 other people are doing it, and because 10 people have told them that that's a great job and that's what you should do. So what's interesting to note is that Paulo Coelho, when he was in his late teens, wanted to become a writer from a very young age. And when he voiced this to his parents put him through ECT. I'll just read it out. When Coelho was 17, his father twice had him committed to a mental institution where he endured sessions of electroconvulsive therapy. His parents brought him back to the institution once more after he became involved with a theatre group and started to work as a journalist. So yeah, not following dreams in the 21st century is something that people should not do. I mean, again, it's a very first world thing for me to be saying this. I understand. I completely understand that people come from different backgrounds. It's just, I feel one thing, and I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments about what you think. I feel like, me personally, I have had to teach myself to be ambitious. I wasn't a very ambitious guy. Right now, I have taught myself over the last 3 to 4 years, I've had to, change my self-talk completely, and then change my entire perspective about what life can be or is expected to be, and what kind of a life I want it to be. So I think it's very important for us to assess our life and our situations very regularly and then bring about some changes. What am I doing to get from point A to point B? Why do I like point B? Do I like it because I thought about it, I stumbled across something and I found something interesting, or is it because my parents and relatives and 50 other people in my life told me that, oh, that's a cool thing to do and it's very respectable and things like that? Of course, not saying that things like that don't resonate with some people. Some people want respect, some people want wealth, and for that they'll do any job. But is everyone like that? Every single person? People who have the actual choice to be the person they are, it's very first world. Again, it is definitely very first world, but I think if you can't think big, how will you ever be big? Because I feel like, of course, situations are different, but thoughts, your imagination is limitless. And if your imagination is limited to a certain, parameter, then how will you ever break out of this and be what you actually want to be or what you can be? I mean, imagine if Michael Jackson's dad was like, really into basketball and he was like, you are going to join the Lakers and you're going to be the best of all of them. Imagine where he would have been. Or imagine if Michael Jordan's, oh wow, two Michaels, Michael Square, fantastic. Michael Jordan's dad was like, hey man, you need to be a singer because my grandfather was a singer and I want that to be carried on. I wasn't able to continue it, but as my kid, you're going to fulfill my dream because that's what a lot of parents do. Imagine if these two had switched places, what would have happened today? Would they be known? Would there have been amazing songs created by Michael Jackson and just it was a worldwide phenomenon? And would the Lakers have had such a fantastic player like Michael Jordan? No, we would not. Because why? Because people were listening to other people. The second you don't listen to what you are doing, you let someone else take the wheel of your life, and then they can drive you to wherever they want you to go and you have no control over where you're going. I think it's very important for us to question things, and yeah, I think Daniel Sloss says it perfectly.
All I'm saying is question fucking everything.
So yeah, I think I could go on and on about this, and I think at some point I would want like one-on-ones with some of you. I have a plan for that. Let's see how things work out. That should be fun. But yeah, tell me what your thoughts are about this. Am I being too ridiculous? Have we talked about something that's interesting and something that people should definitely pay more attention to? Or yeah, just drop your thoughts down. And if you liked this entire reading session, don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course, stick around. I'll be rolling these out weekly, so yeah, stick around, come back, and let's have some fun discussions. Thanks. See you next time.